Hello there, I'm Scotty, you're not, and I have a bone to pick, okay? It's not with this movie, I loved this movie. We Summon the Darkness, what we're talking about here on Tubi Horror Weekend 5. I know, it's a little late. I got a little late, so I woke up a little after 9, and then took a long time for me. I wouldn't make breakfast. By the time I got breakfast, it was almost 10 o'clock. And then by the time I started watching this, it was 11 o'clock. I did my laundry and everything. But my bone to pick is not with this movie. Okay? Hold on. It is with Drum Dums. Okay? Lee McCoy. I love you, Lee, but you messed up in your review of this movie. Alright? Now, I'm not calling him out. I'm just stating a point. It's more of an opinion on my part. So I'm stating an opinion. I'm voicing an opinion. So I'm watching his review for this. As I always do. I watch other respected YouTubers' reviews to get their point of view and see if it matches mine or clashes with mine. It does clash with mine because I love this movie and he had problems with it. But I have a couple of nitpicks, but it's nothing too overly negative, you know. But yeah, so he gives his synopsis for the movie, and he flat out he's like, this. I'm not going to spoil anything. This is a spoiler-free review, but by giving the synopsis that he gave, it spoils a major plot twist in the film. Maybe it's in the trailers. I don't know. I did not see the trailer for this, but he spells out the plot twist that happens when he says this. My plot summary is this: 3 girls are on a road trip to see a metal band where they meet 3 guys in a van. After the metal concert, they go back to this girl's house, Alexander Daddario's house, where shit gets real and people get murdered. That's all I'll say before I go into spoilers. That is how you do a synopsis. You don't want to give anything away. He gives away the plot twist in his synopsis when he says it. And then he's like, I'm not going to go into any spoilers. You already did that when you spoiled the plot twist. Because everything is framed at a certain point. And then when it happens, it's supposed to be a plot twist. Whether it was spoiled by the trailers, look, the filmmakers and the people who do the trailers are separate people. Look at Halloween Ends, right? The trailers we got was all about the final confrontation between Michael and Laurie. But that's not what the movie was about. So then when people went and saw the movie, they were pissed because that's not what they were promised. But David Gordon Green, the director of that movie, stated that was never what the movie was about. It was the marketing that made it about that. And so that's why it failed. Sometimes the marketing can fuck things up. So whatever trailer they put out, if the trailer ruined the plot twist, then that's the trailer. It clearly, and I've seen it done all too many times, where plot twists are revealed in the trailer, and then you watch the movie, and it's quite obviously supposed to be a big plot twist, but the trailer ruined it, because the people in charge of the trailer just wanted to make, or whoever was in charge of doing the trailer was like, okay, this movie needs to make money, let's show what we got. And, you know, it's basically the studios that commission the trailer. So the studios tell the trailer, because the studio looked at this film, that Halloween Ends, and was like, okay, let's just book this as the final showdown between Laurie and Michael, which is what that trailer was. That first trailer is all the final showdown, which is the climax of the damn movie. And then there's another trailer that showed a little bit more, but it was still heavily focused on that final thing. So I didn't see the trailer for this movie that I'm talking about now. But if the plot twist was spoiling that, then I'm not really blaming Lee if that was in the trailer. But still, if you're doing a review that you say it's spoiler free, you cannot then just throw that out. Some people say, oh, if it's in the trailer, I can put it in there. Not always. Not always. You know, I said it before too. Oh, it was in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler. But I feel like this specific plot twist, whether it was in the trailer or not, I didn't watch the trailer, I should have watched the trailer, needs to be saved. So if you have not seen this movie, I'm telling you right now, go watch this movie. Before I get into it, go watch this movie. and see for yourself, because there's a plot twist that happens. I mean, even just by saying there's a plot twist kind of ruined it, because then you're going to expect it. But I will say I did kind of catch on to it at a certain point. Maybe they shouldn't have had maybe they put too many hints at this plot twist in the movie, and they should have just left it alone and just built up to it. But there's just a couple of things, you know. So, yeah, the story is about these three women. They're women. They're supposed to be adult women, although their ages are varied. Alexandra Daddario is my age. Well, she's actually a year older than me. She's 37 right now in 2023. The other two are in their late 20s. This came out in 2020, so 3 years ago, but still differentiating ages. The same thing with the guys. You have Logan Miller, who I know from I'm in the Band, the Disney XD show. He was in Escape Room and Before I Fall, and he's in his late 20s as well. Maybe he's in his early 30s at this point. I think he's like 30, 33, 31, 32. But he's in his early 30s. The one who plays Mark, the guy who plays Mark, he's in his late 20s now. And then you have the other guy who I think was in his early 30s now. And then two ladies, Amy Forsyth and Maddie Hassan, they're in their late 20s. So, but they're all supposed to be around the same age, I guess. But they're talking about, and this takes place in 1988, and they're talking about concerts they went to in 1983. If they're supposed to be in their mid-20s here, you do the math, take away 5 years, they'd be too young for that, right? Let's say they're each 25. Maybe 20 is fine, I guess. But, I don't know, I'm just saying. Maybe. I don't know. And if they're supposed to be playing younger, that complicates things. If maybe Alexandra Daddario was supposed to be playing younger, because she was older than the other two. But, I don't know. Age thing. So they're going on this road trip to this metal concert. And look, in hindsight of watching this movie, how this all happens is just kind of happenstance. As they're driving by, the guys in the van, and they throw the milkshake, and it hits the girl's car. And then they get to the concert, and they just so happen to be going to the same concert. That is, I don't know. Although the way this movie goes, you could say it was the Lord working in mysterious ways. We're going to get into that when I get into the reasoning for this, because it's a little sketchy. But, yeah, there's this televangelist guy, this pastor on the TV, played by Johnny Knoxville. Because when I think religious pastor, I think Johnny Knoxville. And he's preaching stuff, and, you know. But they meet these three guys at a concert, and there's Mark Kovacs, which is not a name, and another guy. And they meet up there, and they have this, metal concert, which is cool. And look, you're going to go in and you're going to think, oh, it's metal. Because Lee even said that in his reviews, like, it's a metal movie. It's not really a metal movie. He even calls the three girls metalheads. They're not. It's revealed later they're not metalheads. But the guys aren't either. They just go to meet chicks there, I think. But anyway, they go back to Alexis's house. They call her Alex a few times. Alexandra Daddario playing a character named Alex. Wow, did they have to stretch that far, didn't they? Anyway, they go back to her house and they start drinking. And when it's revealed that, they don't play it up enough. But you're in a situation, you think, okay, the guys are going to do something to the women. But it turns out it's going to be the women that does that something to the guys. They drug the guys and they tie them up. They're going to do these satanic killings, which they're not really satanic. They're doing it to spread this panic for her father, who is making money off all of this shit, basically. But even that's blasphemy, right? Like, you have a pastor who is spreading this satanic fear, and then his daughters and other women are killing people and saying it's satanic. It's just, and there's, oh no, we just say we're a satanic cult. No, you are a satanic cult. This is a satanic cult. I'm sorry, but No, you got these women killing people with these markings on the wall, and you're doing that, and then you say it's for the Lord's good name. No, I'm sorry, but no, it's a satanic cult. You are actually going against what you are preaching on the podium there, Pastor. No. So yeah, the girls are not really metalheads, the guys. But that's the twist, right? That the girls are the ones that are actually going to do this shit and not the guys, which is something that, you know, some people will go, oh, that's woke. That's woke. And it's not really, you know. But it takes place in 1988. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's not a problem. Maybe that's why they don't say it's woke, because it took place now. Be like girl power, but it took place in 1988 when it was very much, you know, of that time frame. Women trying to be more empowered. Back then, they could do it and not be called woke. Now, I'm not saying it is woke, but it's gone too far to the point where everything just needs to be shoved in your face, it seems. Back then, it was more acceptable. Women, girl power, stuff like that. But yeah, they subvert your expectations, or at least they try to. I felt like maybe one more draft over the script at this part, and they could have really built it. Because there's a point when they're naming off their first concert, and Alexander Daddario's character, Alex, she messes up, and I went, okay, something's up there. Like, I know that's supposed to be there to sort of hint at it, but you didn't need it. You didn't need to have that in there, because what you should do, you should be able to, you shouldn't clue your audience in to something being off. And I feel like that leading up to the twist, because they even do it, the reveal in a good way. They're sitting there, never have I ever, never have I ever. And they're like, never have I ever drugged someone's drink. And then the girls start to drink. And they're like, oh, hey, and then they realize it's them. Mark's already passed out by this point. You know, so it wasn't even that cued me in. Like, once I figured out it was Alex messing up, I'm like, okay, something's going on here. And then just, I don't know, everything leading up to the twist was really too much to clue you in into what's going on. I felt like it should have been more of a twist. It should have been more, oh shit, I didn't see that coming. But there's too many signs. Bev, all of a sudden, is getting cold feet about what? And the only line we get to kind of make us lean in the other direction is, he has a switchblade. Which I'm going, yeah, he could probably fuck you guys up if you try anything. Because I already kind of figured it out. And then when they bring out the drug drinks, one of them brings out the 3 drinks for the guys separate from the ones of theirs. And they, like, Alex comes out first and she hands the drinks out, and then Bev comes out and hands the girls to the drinks to the girls. And it's like, no, you both should have come out at the same time. Because if one comes out and hands the drink to the guys, and then separately the other girl comes out and hands to the girls, oh, well, they got drugged. You know what I mean? They got drugged. And if you really want to subvert the expectations of the audience, have one of the guys in there with them filling up the drinks. Like, have Kovacs in there. Logan Miller can play sketch. He's in there. He's acting weird. Whatever. Maybe he puts extra alcohol in the drinks, and you think he's putting something else, you know? And you just see him putting in 3 drinks. You know, that sort of thing. Who knows? You think, you know, just try to build up the tension with this, because I'm really picking this apart now. I just feel like it's too obvious. You don't need this twist. This is supposed to be a twist. You're supposed to be shocked when this happens. Like that moment where they go, never have I ever drugged someone's drink. And they do the drink, and you sort of going, no shit. It's too fucking obvious. You need to be more. I feel like a couple more drafts of the script at this part of the movie would have worked to kind of fix, you know, that thing. Like, it's too obvious, this twist. Like, here's what I would do. Take out Alex messing up what her first band was. Take that out. Have one of the guys go in with them when they're fixing the drinks, right? and then have them come out, and then have this whole thing, who's gonna whatever, you know. Then you do that. Never have I ever drugged someone's drink, right? And you're like, okay, who's gonna put the hands up? Who's gonna take the drink? Who's gonna take the drink? And when the girls take the drink instead of the guys, you know, that sort of thing. Also, I would have one of the guys say it and not one of the girls. You know what I mean? Have one of the guys say it, and then all the girls take a drink, but the guys don't. So, yeah. And even Alex is the one who says it, and then she takes a drink. Isn't the rule that whoever says it has to not have done it, right? Isn't that the whole thing? Where, isn't that the rules of it? Where if you say never have I ever, you have to have never done it, right? I don't know, it's confusing. But anyway, yes, shit hits the fan. Girls have the guys tied up. I spent most of the review just bitching about this whole scene. But anyway, then it just evolves to, I don't remember the guy's name. The guy with the mustache. He dies because he keeps bitching about the pastor, who ends up being Alex's father. And then the movie just kind of, the other two, they hide in the bathroom. And Bev just takes off for some reason. She has enough and she leaves. I missed the part. I don't know. I missed the part. She's just gone. All of a sudden she's gone. It's the other two. I'm like, what happened to Bev? What's going on? And then when I think when the cop is killed is when she's like, she turns back around. She's like, they have her out of this chunk of the movie for no apparent reason. I don't think. Just because she's ready to take off. But she doesn't. What does she do? Just stand outside the entire time? I don't know. But yeah. So let me get to the cops. So Mark and Kovacs are locked in the bathroom. Kovacs has been stabbed or shot or something. He's been stabbed. He's bleeding out. They're trying to figure out a way to escape. And then Alex's stepmother shows up. And again, a couple more passes at the script, and this could have worked better. You have to have stupid characters in a horror movie, or this script doesn't work. And I don't know. One, you didn't need this character to show up. All it is one more dead body, and it leads to another dead body. So the stepmom shows up, and she asks what's going on, and she's like, well, and Alex is like, well, we're just having a slumber party thing. She's like, oh, okay. She goes up, she gets her passport, she does some coke, she comes back down, and she's like, okay, oh, by the way, if the cops show up, they're like, cops? Yeah, I called the cops, just tell them it was a misunderstanding. And they're like, you called the cops? She gets pissed, and then she kills her fucking stepmom, because her stepmom finds out. They hear one of the guys screaming or something, and when she checks out where the ritualistic murders were at, and that one guy's still sitting there dead, and then Alex kills her, because Alex is the most, like, crazy one of them. So Alex kills her. You just killed your fucking stepmom. And it's like, yeah, she was divorcing her dad anyway, but like a normal movie would have her in on it. But they had to write it as she's her stepmom that got a divorce, soon to be ex-stepmom. She's got a divorce, she's going somewhere else. They wrote that in so they can have another dead body. Because if she was in on it, it would make too much sense. Because they do it later. The cop does eventually show up. And again, they have to write a movie cop stupid. Or a movie cop as this aggressive guy. Movie cops are always written to be aggressive and not listen to anybody. So when Alex tries to explain what's going on, he's like, he senses something's off. He's like, okay, put your hands on the car. And bend over, put your hands on the car. And she's like, what? No, I just told you. It was just a misunderstanding, officer. You can leave. And he should have left. But he's all like, I need to speak to your stepmom. he's like, I just explained to you she's upstairs sleeping. Like, she does kind of fumble a little bit in the explanation. That she came, what she should have said, because she says she came to get a passport and leave. She's like, oh, okay. Where's your stepmom now? Oh, she's upstairs sleeping. I thought you said she wanted to get a passport and leave. She did, but then she realized it was too late and she decided to go lay down. She should have said she came to get her passport, but realized it was too late and went to bed. That's what it was. An initial thing. Now he suspects something, but she says it's just misunderstanding, and because she doesn't, she runs back into the house. He follows her, and Val's able to get the gun and shoot the cops. And now they got a dead cop, which kind of, Pastor Dad gets really pissed later about this. There's a cop's corpse in my fucking kitchen, he says. And, so everything kind of breaks down. Bev comes back in at this point, and she is firmly trying to save those guys now. So she has like an outboard motor. She does get Alex on the leg, and then disappears again for a little bit. There's a whole thing where they play, ooh, baby, do you know it? That's where, ooh, heaven is a place on earth. And I was like, she puts the cassette tape in because it's 1988. I'm like, okay, go to blast some metal music. No, it's that. And I thought, oh, that makes sense because they're not metalheads. She wouldn't have metal music in the house. But she still should have played metal music. If she's trying to get across that it was satanic worshipers doing this, she should have played metal music so that if the other cops showed up, because I'm pretty sure that like no other cops show up at this fucking house, at least that we see. This guy would have told someone where he was going, and someone would have been like, oh, like stepmom made a call. Then the dispatch radios out someone. The guy says, I'll check it out. They don't hear from him. They're going to come investigate. And at no point does that happen. But Mark and Kovacs, I keep saying Kovacs eventually escape with the help of Bev, but they get separated, right? And Kovacs ends up outside while Mark is trying to get the keys from Alexis. And this is where, just to be characters. So Kovacs is outside laying on the sidewalk because he's bleeding out to death. Here comes Pastor Johnny Knoxville, right? He comes up. He's like, hey, are you okay? What's going on? And he's like, this crazy girl's trying to kill me. He's like, oh. He's got the gun on him and stuff. He's like, oh, well, it's okay. I'm going to call the cops. Just give me the gun, and I'll go see what's going on. So like a fucking dumbass, he hands him the gun. And then he's like, wait, I know who you are. And the guy shoots him, because of course he's in on it. He is Alex's dad, right? And then we get another stupid character decision. So Mark is going upstairs to get the keys. He knows Alex has the keys. He goes up, and the keys are just sitting on the desk. And I'm like, well, don't go for him. It's a fucking trap. But no, he grabs it. Alex jumps out of the freaking closet. And at this point, the power gets turned back on because Bev is downstairs fighting Maddie Hassan. I don't remember her name. But she electrocutes her to death and then turns the power back on. No, she doesn't electrocute her. She sets her hair on fire because she's constantly using hairspray throughout the film. So she sets her hair on fire, and that's how she dies. I thought there was going to be another, she pops back up. No, she's dead. And then, then the pastor comes up and saves Alex. He doesn't die. He gets knocked out by Bev. And then Alex gets knocked out the window to her supposed death. Mark and Bev take off. And Alex jumps out in the middle of the fucking road and gets ran over. Right? And we cut to news footage of the pastor trying to explain this off. Oh, my daughter was the leader of a satanic cult. And I was doing this for the satanic cult, whatever. Working with satanic cult. And It's a disgrace to my family. They killed my ex-wife. They killed a police officer. It's a disgrace. I can't believe what I've seen. So stuff like that. And Bev's there, and she buys a bunch of stuff like peroxide and band-aids and stuff like that to help them. And she looks at the guy, same guy that bought the stuff from earlier, and she goes, "Don't believe everything you see on TV." And then goes off, and they're still alive, and they drive off. And then we hear the song, "A Little Bit of Hot," and so at the end of the day, this movie is pretty good, but it's on the lower side of it. It just makes it pretty good for me because I enjoyed it. On, I would say that the '80s, while fitting in pretty good, and it works with the '80s. Don't know why it's in the '80s, but I enjoyed this movie. It's another one that was an instant cart after I was done. It's in my eBay cart. That makes what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That makes 6 so far that I put in there. And alligator is an eventuality, and I don't know about the other ones, but yeah. So, what are your thoughts on We Summon the Darkness? I'm going to comment, so much, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.